looky here, looky here. Looks like a road glide. Okay, so this is that road glide that we spotted earlier. As you can see, there's plenty of room to get it through right here. Before we go home and get the enclosed trailer, let's check and see if it's got the Harley smart siren hooked to the regular alarm system. So first thing we do is check and see is the seat attached. With most of these Harleys it's not. All we got to do is just move the seat out of the way. And then the next thing we need to do is right down here, pop that side cover off, out of the way, and looky right there. See that plug right there? That plug right there tells me this does not have the Harley smart siren. So this is going to be easy pickings. Hello everybody. We're back out in the garage where we feel most comfortable. And today we are working on the 2017 Road Glide Ultra. Everybody knows that these bikes come from the factory with an alarm system that basically it'll stop the bike from starting if you don't have your key fob, if you don't know the security code. But for the most part, all it does is just the lights flash. If you come over here, you don't have your key fob, turn it on, that light will start flashing. It'll ask you to enter PIN, which is a way to override the system if you don't have your key fob. If you lift it up, if you look, you can see basically all it does is the lights just flash. And today we're going to show everybody how to make it to where you'll also have a siren. Harley makes a siren, an audible siren that you can purchase through them. It's a plug-and-play deal. It's actually pretty nice, but it's, I don't know, $129, $149. And I bought those. There actually came 5 of them in this little package, and I think I paid $20, I believe, on Amazon. See, the name of the company is DIY sales at DIYmalls.com. Like I said, I think I got them on Amazon. But at any rate, pull your left saddlebag off, pull the side cover off, and you got this pin right here. Lift up on that, pull it out. Yellow, got a green seal. You got a red wire, a white wire with a green stripe, and a black wire. And I've got one of those little sirens right there. And the way you check to see if you got the right one is you put the red wire in there. It's hard to do this with. And then all you gotta do is just touch this to the ground. Oh yeah, that's nice and loud. That's definitely going to get somebody's attention if they're messing with your bike. They're going to be like, oh crap, better not try to steal this one. And I plan on putting a couple of them. I mean, heck, like I said, I got 5 of these bad boys and it was 20 bucks. As opposed to Harley Davidson wants you to pay them, you know, Harley Davidson $100. Well, in this situation, it's more than $100. One thing that I noticed that a lot of people are doing is they're the 2 wires that you want to use, the red wire and the white wire with the green stripe. You don't need the black wire, it's a constant ground. But at any rate, I saw people were cutting those 2 wires, and other people were using Scotch locks, which I hate Scotch locks. Those are horrible. But a stranded wire, trying to stuff it down in there and trying to get it to where you don't accidentally get into this hole also. It's kind of hard. And believe me, I've got a full assortment of wire. So what I've discovered, or what I found out was the easiest route to go, was this stuff right here. This is solid wire. It's 2C solid copper. Doorbell wire. Call it doorbell wire. This is also the wire that they use for, like, when you have a push button for your garage door. But this stuff is nice and rigid. And it also shoves right down into that hole and almost kind of locks in. Always try to avoid cutting into my factory wiring, and I try to avoid using Scotch locks at all cost. I would rather cut a wire in half and solder the 2 wires back together along with a 3rd wire, and then shrink tube over everything, as opposed to trying to use a Scotch lock. Apologize for the excess noise. Of course, as soon as I start videoing, my neighbor decides time to mow the yard. But get you a little pick right here and get up underneath that rubber seal and just work that baby around. Pop it right off. Try not to hurt it because you're going to use it again. And then you've got 2 little clips right there that hold this yellow piece on. I have to learn how to fast forward video since this. There we go. And of course I lost it. Shot across the shop floor, and we found it. So no big deal. Okay, now. Of course I kicked my little stand. Alright, yep, we're still in focus. Now, if you look, right there, there's just a little black tab. And if you lift up real easy on that black tab, you can grab this wire and pull it out. And you want to be real gentle with that black tab. And voila, wire comes right out. Just like so. Needle pulling thread, isn't that what they said? But anyway, what I think I'm going to try doing is I'm going to shove my red wire in from the back side. Maybe. Yep. Maybe not. And then see if I can shove that back up in there. Might have to cut some of this casing away. But at any rate, my thought process with that is if I can get that to go in there and seal back up, and I think it will, then I can plug it back into the spot where it goes, and then everything's all sealed up. I can put a little dab of dielectric grease back here just to help make sure that that's all sealed up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And yes, ladies, I like to include the ladies because I know there are ladies out there that like to ride, and there are ladies out there that like to work on their own machine. So kudos to you ladies who ride, and especially the ones that aren't afraid to get their hands dirty and turn a wrench. While I was doing this, by the way, it did work. I managed to get the wires shoved up in there. One thing that I will note when you're pulling the wires out, if you're having trouble, if you're trying to lift up on that little lock tab and it's not wanting to lift up and the wire's not wanting to come out, instead of pulling on the wire, push forward on the wire and then pry on the tab, and it should slide out a lot easier. But and then I shoved the wires in from the back side here and put a bunch of dielectric grease. Dielectric grease is definitely your friend in a situation like this. Everything should be fairly sealed up, but just to be on the safe side to keep the corrosion from happening. One of the things that I got to thinking about, and if you were to buy the Harley alarm system, everybody knows these bikes come with the alarm system, but they don't come with an audible, and everybody knows that you can go to Harley and they'll sell you the little plug and play. And the people that also know that are the people that are stealing these bikes. So if somebody were to come up to this bike and think, well, I'm going to check and see, they're going to pop the side cover off and they're going to look and see, is this thing plugged in right there where it's supposed to be, or is it plugged into something that looks like that? And if it's plugged into an alarm, then they're just going to unplug it, and then boom, lo and behold, now your bike does not have an audible alarm. So what I did was, on the factory sheeting, I cut into it and I shoved my wires. Now you can see I've got some shrink tube over it because I want it to be hidden. And then I shoved the wires through that hole and I shoved them through the factory sheeting, and it's all covered up. And then I got me a piece of shrink tube that I'm going to slide up into place. So mine is going to be plugged in and it's going to look all factory. You're not going to be able to tell. This is going to be tucked. I probably didn't even have the shot. Anyway, this is going to be plugged in where it's supposed to be, and then this is going to be tucked up underneath here where you're not going to even be looking. So somebody goes to steal this bike, they're going to think that it doesn't have an audible alarm. Then as soon as they start messing with it, it'll start going off, and hopefully they will decide, nah, don't want this one, and they'll run away. Next thing that I will tell you is this wire right here is hot. This red wire right here, that red wire is hot all the time. So that fuse right there, you want to pull that fuse before you start messing with this. Don't ask me how I know. So let's grab a fuse, stick it in there. Got our alarm system up and going. This is just temporary wiring. Don't get all excited. I'm not going to leave it like that. I do plan on adding a couple more of these alarms, and so I found some black wire that's like, I don't know, 20 gauge, maybe even 22 gauge, but I'm going to use that because it's black and white, as opposed to having red and white wire running all over my bike. And I don't have a, oh, there we go. I don't know why my light wasn't flashing. Anyway, if you stand it up, there you go. Over. Now, when you shut it off, if you got the key fob, it should chirp. Yep, when the alarm sets. When you turn the key on, if you got your key fob, turn your key on, it'll chirp to let you know it's disarmed the alarm. When you shut the key off, when the alarm sets, it'll chirp, and you're all set. Like I said, the one nice thing about wiring this thing up yourself is, number one, granted this is a little more work as opposed to spending the $150, $120, whatever it is for the Harley system. But the Harley system has that one downfall that everybody knows about it. And if a thief goes to steal your bike, if they're smart, they're going to pop this side cover off. They're going to see that it's got this thing plugged into an alarm. They're going to unplug it, and now you spent that $150 for nothing. Whereas you spent $20, you spent, I don't know, an hour of your time, and you've got something that somebody's going to pop that side cover off and go, oh, yep, we're good to go on this one. And as soon as they start messing with your bike, it's going to start going off like crazy, and hopefully it keeps somebody from stealing your bike. So there is that. A little bit of elbow grease goes a long way. I wanted to show everybody the finished product once I slid the shrink tube up. As you can see, you can't see the wiring at all. So anybody that pops that cover off, they're going to look at that connector and go, yep, it's good to go. I've even got my right there is my siren. So it itself is actually hidden to where, and I plan on covering the wires also, so that they've got ink shrink or shrink tube over the top of them, so they're not visible at all. And somebody pops that side cover off, they're going to look at it and go, oh yeah, it doesn't have the alarm, so we're good to go. And boy, how wrong they will be. Now once the system is all hooked up and ready to go, if somebody turns the key on, nothing's going to happen. You shut the key back off, they're good to go. Now somebody comes over, sits on your bike, puts it in the upright position, it'll give it a chirp, it'll give it a second chirp, and if you don't put it back down on the side stand, key fob, yeah, keep that handy. But anyway, it'll give it 2 warning chirps before it actually goes off. If somebody turns your key on, it starts flashing, tells you to enter the pin. If somebody has the key on, it stands up, it's pretty much immediate. Pretty much immediately, the alarm's going to go off. I think that this is a much better way to go about doing it than buying the Harley factory plug and play alarm. So tell me what you think. Do you think this is a better idea, or did I just waste a whole bunch of my time and just spend the $159 and plug and play and go on about your day?